Broadcasting Studios. Once again, my friend, Mr. Brian Bliss.
Live 3 feet from you.
Live, yeah. About 3 feet.
What do you think of that shirt? That's a shirt.
It's not something I would wear, and I definitely would not be doing the YMCA dancing.
Our buddy.
Listen, you said the Village people were coming. So, look, it's September 1st. September to remember. It's my September to remember shirt, and I wanted you to remember me.
Yeah, well,
I will,
mission accomplished.
I'm just glad I haven't eaten lunch.
Do you remember me more from the shoes at the sportsbook contest?
Oh, you get
the
normal
Super
sneakers.
contest?
Oh, yeah, you had some.
Or the shirt from today?
Yeah, you had these, like, I don't know what they were. What were those shoes or boots? Those were, like, studded. I don't know what they were. JohnSyndicate.com, 888-201-4200.
Is it normally this hot in September?
It's nice now. I'm telling you, last week, when you got here, you experienced it. It was humid. It was really on the toasty side. You ready? We got college football, man. It's time, huh?
Man, first of all, I want to say, shout out to my friend Lynn in Henderson. He was going to meet me, but he even said it was too hot. I mean, listen, unbelievable. He had to stay in the shade. Yeah, it's finally football. It is football. I'm so excited because I can't bear my son calling me about the Orioles since I landed here.
Oh, man.
They can't win a game, man. It's unbelievable. Look, it's 110 degrees outside, but look, the bottom line is we got real football this Thursday. And
games that count,
games that matter. And my sources have been locked into this Thursday. We've been waiting all week long. And the opening lines are the games that we key in. Look, we know and I know there's going to be 50 games this Saturday. And the question is, are these clients going to overbet these games because they've been waiting all season long? And you know and I know this is when guys get killed. 4-teamers, 5-teamers, 10-teamers, 11-teamers. And this is when most clients don't take advantage of trying to isolate the key choices, the obscure games that are often overlooked by the general public that we discussed in the video.
That's right. But this first week, I mean, it is, in the beginning, more so than any time of year, especially college football, because in NFL, okay, we're seeing these guys out there to a degree. But we don't see these kids, right? So, I mean, having information and really being on top of this out of the gate, it's critical. And then the odds makers make their adjustments in weeks 2 and weeks 3.
Yeah, I mean, look, my guys have been studying these games all week long. There's huge money coming in on these games. You were talking about games moving off the number with Brian before I even came in. My clients that are already with me know we have already isolated games. You did the games of the year earlier in June and July at the Golden Nugget. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, you got number 2 TCU. They're laying 14 at Minnesota.
Up to 15.
Up to 15. Over the key number. Now, look, I'm telling you right now, this team should roll this team by 20-plus points. This is one of my dark horses this year. They were snubbed, as we said last week, but with most of the starters returning, I just don't see how this team doesn't make the playoffs unless the injuries plague them. And I think that a lot of dog bettors are going to make the mistake of biting into the big number.
Well, the concern to me with TCU is the weight of expectations. They're going to play with a stone in their shoe. They felt they got scalded last year, should have been replaced. Hey, we'll see how prepared they are out of the gate. The other one, and I know you were looking at this Texas San Antonio, Arizona game. And
very big matchup.
But you know what? Here's the thing, and we chuckle about that. Last year Arizona beat them 26-23.
Right.
I mean, so don't think for 10 seconds these guys don't remember how lucky they were to get out of Dodge. They are not going to take these guys lightly, and I think the cover's a little bare for Coker this year.
No, exactly. And look, the bottom line is last season they were playing a little soft, and you saw it was a close game. Now, all I can tell you is that in a revenge matchup, I'm looking at the second half in this matchup, the game within the game. This is what you like to do, eyes on the game. Mm-hmm. Everybody's at a rush to make the wager before the game starts as opposed to sitting back and waiting. You and I both know this is an opportunity where you might be able to take advantage of waiting for that second half opportunity.
And I know you do that a lot. And the thing with this game, and I'll just say this right now, this is a game I think is going to go over the total. I think this is a high-scoring game. It's 58.5. I think Anu Solomon, I think Arizona, I think they're going to put up a lot of points in this game because they're not taking these guys lightly. And then the reason I think it gets over the total is, I think, to what you're talking about, is that if Arizona gets the big lead, and that's what you get when you get these balloon numbers. Now they take the starters out.
Correct.
Right? Texas San Antonio's leaving their starters in, and they could have some fourth quarter success and get those points up. And then I know what you're thinking is maybe that backdoor cover.
Exactly, and that's what you have to be careful when you're laying these huge numbers early in the season. And I have a client. I probably had 15 clients call me this week, and I'm an Ohio State alumni. What do you think of Ohio State? Do you think they're going to roll and win the championship? And they're worried about the championship on September 1st. It's like that's the story.
That's a good point. I mean, Frank is a big
if
Buckeye.
I had $1 for that, I mean.
But seriously though, Frank, I think John brings up a good point here. We have talked about them ad nauseum. So Tony Miller months ago puts up the prop, which was minus 240 to go unbeaten, and then that was bet down to minus $1.20. Does that concern you at all? That everybody is just kind of penciling these guys in? I mean, that's where Meyer's got to earn his money to keep these guys on top of the game.
It does concern me, but I think there's a combination of reasons for that. Number one is their schedule. A lot of people have no respect for the Big Ten and the Ohio State schedule. They think that this first game's a bit. I'm worried about the first game. With Bosa not being there and the other guys out, and like you guys said, we don't know exactly what there is. And you give Beamer that much time to get a team ready for somebody.
Well, that's true.
They're going to be, he's a special teams genius. He knows what he's doing. They beat him last year in Columbus. So, no, I'm worried about game one. If they win this coming Monday, then I think it will start rolling in the right direction.
Running the table, even if they do, has nothing to do with the spread.
That's right. No, exactly.
So I'm a businessman. I want to bet and make a living. I'm not worried about if they run the table. I'm worried about how many games do they cover against the spread.
Well, and I'm the exact opposite. As a fan, I just want to just win, baby.
He just wants to go see hockey.
But the thing is,
I love Ohio State.
The thing though, and I think when you're talking that game within the game, I've got a feeling. If you remember last year, and you got on top of this early, I know you did, that Florida State, you faded them in the first half, and they came out of the gate asleep at the switch and enrolled in the second half. Every week, if you faded them in the first half and played on them in the second week, whatever it ended up being, it's ridiculous number. Okay, I'm wondering if teams are going to come and give Ohio State their best shot for a long time out of the gate, and then that talent level and the physical nature wears them down. So I think you might have something. And then the other thing is now you get to the depth at quarterback. Those guys aren't trying to impress the NFL. So even when he wants to call the dogs off in the second half, Ohio State could be doing damage late.
Exactly, and they're going to keep pressing. And so that's why I say look for the obscure teams, the Texas San Antonios. Look for the little schools that are often overlooked by the general public. Look for the teams that aren't in the top 25, you're not going to watch on TV.
You're like me. You love the Sun Belt. You love those smaller teams.
I love the Sunny Shirts, the Sun Belt, everything. I mean, I love the little schools that you just have. They have the little circle limit on these games, and this is where you get value. You hate that word.
What about a team like the MAC, who is one of the smaller conferences, but they've been on TV for so many years now? Are people more in tune to them because they've seen them more?
Yeah,
often?
I mean, when you give them out to the clients, they don't choke as much. Let's put it that way.
Well, but the thing is,
Southwest Missouri State.
But if it's on TV, obviously they want action. So I mean, I think everybody on both sides of the counter a lot more information because you get to see these guys. I don't care what anybody says. You can have your power rankings till you're blue in the face, and the eyeball test matters.
Right. Correct. And you do have the opportunity now more than ever to play the second half because of obviously ways to do it, and you can take advantage of that. And let's not forget about dogs in baseball.
I was just going to ask you about baseball.
Man, streaking. Big dogs have been barking to the bank in easy fashion. And like I said, I feel bad for anybody betting unders in baseball and betting favorites in baseball because yesterday was another prime example of going against Chicago and taking advantage of that dog money. And tonight's another prime example. You have to just roll with the Cleveland Indians against Toronto. I'm taking Anderson just because, again, you're not going to have that pitcher in the late innings unless he's pitching a complete game, and I go with that value. If you like Toronto, play him in the first 5 innings, and then go the other way, look to scoop the game both ways. It seems foreign to a lot of guys, but you know how I work it.
Plus $1.90. Here's the thing. Estrada can be really good or ordinary. Generally, he's really good at home, but Cleveland just started bracing the spoiler role.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. That's what these dogs are going to bark in baseball. Hey, listen, this hour went fast. You can get hold of John at 888-201-4201. JohnSyndicate.com. Yeah, you check out the tutorial, the video. You've been putting stuff up on your Ustream from out here?
Every day. I'm periscoping right now. If you look over, you were talking about my shirt. I'm actually periscoping.
Oh, brother. So it's out there.
It's out there. Hopefully they won't get blinded.
When are you going home?
Later this evening.
All right.
And I'll be back in a few weeks.
All right, pal. Good to see you. John
You
from
got it, buddy.
JohnSyndicate.com. Good stuff today. Thanks to Tony Miller for checking in, Bruce Marshall, our buddy John from JohnSyndicate.com. Ballpark with great work as always. Tomorrow we get Chuck Esposito. Mark Nelson's got a check in from Aliante with that new mobile app. So we'll be all fired up for that. Mark Lawrence from the Playbook. Thursday we're at Oasis.